Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to O2 Taiko World Cup 2025. And we are finally in the winners bracket matches because it's Sunday now, and we're on our first match of the winners bracket. The second seed versus not the third seed this time, it's actually going to be the sixth seed as Chile upsetting United States last weekend, and now facing one of the even stronger teams, South Korea. Can you do the upset again? We'll see in an hour. My name is Yongin, and joining with me today, we got...
Hello, everybody. This is a really exciting match. I'm Bronze Crank, by the way. I never actually said my name. But like you said, Chile pulled off that massive upset last weekend. One of the best matches, I think, of the tournament so far, taking the US to tiebreaker and winning. But this is an entirely different beast altogether, both in terms of the map pool they're going to have to play and the team they're going to have to face. South Korea has so many players that are just terrifying to face, and Chile is going to have to bring their A++ game here if they want to repeat what they did last weekend.
Yeah, South Korea so far has been performing one of the best in the entire tournament, even outperforming Japan, I would say, for some of the current pools because of not too difficult enough just yet. And I think most of the teams against Japan have been kind of trolling a little bit because they are facing Japan, and Japan were missing members. And South Korea has been basically 100% form, even their first match, not showing any weakness at all, basically letting some of the most strongest roster on almost every map. Maybe sometimes they will have a weaker player to show up, but I mean South Korea only losing 1 point to China last weekend on the low mod 5 because of one singular misses. So still one of the best teams in the entire tournament, basically free mod or hidden hard rock. But we're gonna see our bans no mod 6 from Chile not trying to play the speed maps, and South Korea of course banning the tech, because I would say regular no mod tech may be one of their few weaknesses that South Korea has.
Yeah. It's an interesting set of bans. We've taken out essentially both of the no mod tech maps. Chile taking out, I think, the sort of double BPM, really high skill cap one. South Korea taking out the simpler one. So the tech enjoyers in the lobby might find themselves a little bit barren here. You're gonna have to go into the mod pools. But South Korea gonna go with one of the more straightforward maps in the pool, the DT2 Senketsu no Chikai. This is a very interesting map.
Yeah, because this map is very stream heavy, unlike the maps that we have seen being banned, and the song is 15 billion years old. It's a very, very old song, around 2008 or 2007, around those times. We're gonna see Peaceful, Rosemary probably gonna be staying in the room for 90% of the maps. These two players are so consistent and so high accuracy.
Seeing Choseung come in and round out the trio for South Korea's first map here. Meanwhile on Chile, we saw a little bit of rearranging there, but Ulko, Shiny Froakie, and Aris gonna be that trio. Yeah, this is a very interesting map. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I was gonna say which Aris is Miyuka or Miyuchi. Changed his names last weekend.
Ah! Yeah, I was like in my head like, Aris, okay, who is this? Which, there's been two name changes on Chile since the start of the tournament, and it constantly messes me up every time I look at them.
They are doing the trolling strategy, just mid-turny change their name and surprise the caster. And like, wait, who is this guy? But yeah, another speed roster from Chile. Orko probably going to be staying in 100% of the maps. Maybe one map will be going out, but I think the pool is too hard that I don't see a free player replacing him on the map. Shiny Froakie, basically the speed stream roster for all those Chileans, and Aris, a very high speed player, came from Mania. Froakie was previously #1 in Mania, so now moving on to Taiko, of course, was a very quick player. It's probably gonna be an accuracy battle, and looking at some of these rosters from South Korea's Peaceful and Rosemary, probably gonna be a very high act battle.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting map. I remember farming this back when I think I was like rank 3K, but these players now playing at 50% higher speed. It's 270 BPM, but that being said, I think the patterning itself and the kind of like style of map is pretty simple. It just is long. It is almost 3 minutes of needing to deal with 270 BPM, and you have to hold your stamina well enough such that you can hit the diff spike about 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah, there will be quite a number of long streams, a long burst throughout the solo sessions, as usually where we do see breaks from player 1 and 2. Unlucky misses might gonna happen. So far, Chosun and Shiny Froakie are on the lower accuracy battle onto around 99%, and of course Piso and Rosemary is beating both Orko and Aries handily, because Rosemary right now is only on 3/100 so far. And there goes a break from Aries.
Oh! Peaceful does trade it though. The lead stays in place right around 10,000 points. So while I think Chile is on the back foot here, especially accuracy-wise, you know, all it's going to take is one miss to swing it over. We see the lead actually getting a little bit more unstable here as we get into this guitar solo section. Aries, though, going to find a pair of misses there. Not traded so far, and all the players make it through that death stream.
That long slider almost goes to South Korea. You can see South Korea almost miss right after the long slider. They were spamming really hard, but get the 100 drop right after the slider. So be careful, players. Don't focus too much on the slider because you might cost us a lot of accuracy. But now South Korea is firmly in the 1 break lead, and there's no more hard part left. So technically, South Korea just need to hold on, and they can clear this in a way because it's not going to be an accuracy battle anymore. 99.48% from Rosemary topping the lobby so far, and Orko was closely falling behind with 100 more. But it's not going to matter because that's basically the end of the map. And the breaks is too late coming from South Korea.
Chile put up a good fight there, but man, those accuracies from South Korea are crazy. 9 100s for Peaceful, 15 for Rosemary.
I'm kind of surprised that Chosun actually came into play this map because he's not really an accuracy player. And like asking him to play at double time, it's kind of a interesting roster placement for South Korea, I would say. But still, they got it because the FC, and now it's gonna be, and that matters a lot because you perform on probably the only free chance you're able to play in your team, because Chosun probably won't be playing a lot until like very late stage. I'm gonna see an accuracy battle being chosen from Chile though.
I think not a bad choice there, seeing what happened in DT2. Despite South Korea taking that point, Chile was able to make it pretty close for most of the match, or for most of the map. I think Chile might want to stick with these more accuracy battle picks here and just look to catch out, you know, the 1 or 2 odd misses, try to take advantage. We do see Chiba Masu coming in for Chile. Another one of the star players on the Chilean team. Applers, meanwhile, coming in instead of Choseung for South Korea. Just huge names all around. Oh no, Chiba, come back!
He's definitely coming back, but yeah, that is going to be the star roster for both of these teams. Piso, Rosemary, Applers, definitely the trio we would expect South Korea play most of the maps, and Orko, Chiba, Masu, Aries, probably as well gonna be the best roster for the Chilean, so it's gonna be the best of each teams. Usually these are what you associate these teams with. A very high skill cap players, Applers and Chiba and Masu, making the top 12 in EGTS series. So
yeah,
nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, I think we are like starting to get to that point in the tournament where you're getting high enough skill cap maps that you do see players like this show up more and more and have better and better performances, as like their scores just keep remaining the same despite the maps getting harder.
Yeah, we'll see. Like we mentioned, Applers is not really a high accuracy player, so that's gonna be giving Chile a bit of a nice start. Because they have 2 double so far from Orko and Aries, and 1 100 from Chiba and Masu, 2 from Rosemary, and around 4 from Applers, and that's all. 5 from Applers, and that's all different so far.
Yeah, it's a small accuracy lead here for Chile early on, but lots of map to go. 2.5 minutes along here. And with the accuracies everyone's holding, every 100 is going to end up mattering. Only 5,000 points separating the two teams. A race, but peaceful trades.
Awkward performance so far from these two players has not been consistently performing their FCs throughout No Mod 1 and Double Time 2 as well. But that trade is going to be more important for Chile because Ares misses a big way breaker than Peaceful, so he drops a bit slightly more score, and now score lead has flipped to South Koreans.
Yeah, still only 3,000 points. That's 2, maybe 3 100 separating these teams. And the accuracies are just so good, but about half of the map is still remaining. Lots of tough stuff to go. Chile needs to hang in there, needs to keep it close enough that they can strike when South Korea finds a mistake.
Yeah, there's a lot of finishers in this map, though, so we make sure to hit that. And there goes a finisher break from Rosamir. Right about to talk about finishers, and that is giving Chile a pretty nice lead because there's nothing to trade with, but they need to be careful about both of their accuracies and their combo.
Yeah, Chile in the driver's seat now. They just need to hold. Rosemary, though, finds another set of breaks there. It's a pretty solid lead here for Chile. They can even afford a break. Chibamasu going to test that theory, however. Not a huge accuracy drop along with it, though. The lead's still above 20,000 points for Chile as we head into the outro here. And I'm not going to say anything. There's nothing happening at the top of the screen right now. We're just going to focus on Chile closing out this outro here, trying to hold on to their accuracies and combos. And Ulka, what are you doing?
And yes, he SS the map, and Peaceful once again, one miss, 100. One miss a finisher. Seems like the finisher really sealed the deal of this map. South Korea players finding 2 misses on the finishers, and that causes the map because this is the FC map. This is one of the easiest map in the entire pool, but still, and double S is still very impressive in this stage.
Yeah, you do not see many of those in semi-final weekend, but that's why Chile is in the winner's bracket still. That's why Chile has already locked in their best ever placement in a Taiko World Cup. They are just scary this year. So both teams winning their first pick.
Now South Korea's pick. That was a bit shaky from Chile, but I guess that's what happens when you face against one of the best teams in the entire tournament. You need as much advantage as you get, and they're gonna be picking something that they probably South Korea has a lot more advantage on. 3 mod 2, our anti-mod pick Polacro, and honestly this mod is actually slightly bit easier to double mod compared to 3 mod 1. I'm talking about double mod in this case because you might be seeing more than 4 and 5 double mods in this map.
Just incomprehensible on semi-final weekend, but all these players are good enough. You do see Kompaku Sario coming in for the first time for South Korea here. Chile not changing up their lineup, however. And yeah, this is a pretty wild free mod here. I think mechanically not too crazy, but the SV does get pretty out there.
Yeah, not even that. This is also OD7, which means it's OD 9.8 after Hard Rock or Hidden Hard Rock, and that is rough to act. There's a lot more slower session though, which may trip up players on the slow SV streams, but some players may find it easier to read with double mod. However, you're gonna suffer the OD10 hidden if that's the case. Honestly, a pretty risky pick against Chile, but they just want to get as much advantage on the double mods. Because Chile, to me, is actually one of the best free mod team in the entire tournament, and you are just starting it instead of just focusing on more, I would say, hard rock and double time picks.
Yeah. I mean, free mod 2 is the kind of pick you go for if you are trying to just there's no shot we're getting 6 hidden hard rocks.
Yeah, we are.
Ladies, gentlemen, and all you beautiful people in between, welcome to semi-finals weekend. We have 6 of the most cracked players in the game right on your screen for your enjoyment. Oh my goodness. I was expecting like 4.
I was expecting 5, but to be honest, I thought this map was a little bit easier to double mod than 3 mod 1 due to how straightforward the pattern is rather than 3 mod 1 which they're very weird patterning. But I think this is a very risky play here from Chile. I'm not too sure can they put on a high X double mod against South Korea, but again, they just want to take this opportunity.
Aris, though, already struggling a bit here, and Chibamasu also having a pretty tough time holding accuracy here.
And yeah,
Already.
Orko and Piso once again matching against each other, but the second and third player, South Korea just seems to have a slightly more depth on a weirder frame up pick like this. Especially high ac requirement, Aris is not getting his accuracy up and breaking again, and that is a 6-digit score lead all in favor of South Korea, and we are not into the hard part just yet.
Yeah, that is the scary thing about Chile as a team. I think their depth is gonna start biting them, especially in these later weekends. You know, a team like South Korea, you have obviously Peaceful and Rosemary in for almost every map, but you have so many ridiculously good players behind that can plug and play a lot of these super tough maps, and I don't think Chile has that to the same extent, and it kind of comes through on picks like this where you just don't really have a second or a third really strong hidden hard rock player for this free mod 2, and that's resulting in this huge score lead here.
As we're going to speed up now, and we do see Aris finding another break. There's a bit of a slowdown session right after this, might call off some players, but seems like the 1-6 is going to be caught off Orko as well. And Rosemary is... and everyone in South Korea is beating everybody in Chile. This is how crazy they are. They are really trying to get the second place this year, or even the first, trying to challenge Japan on the free mod 299% on the free mod 2 pick with 3 hidden hard rock. That is how strong their hidden lineup roster is. 200,000 points difference. This is why I expect this match to be slightly bit one-sided, and this shows again 250,000, almost 250,000 points difference.
Peaceful. What is that play? 8 100s on the hidden hard rock there. I mean, not to mention, you know, the Rosemary and Kopaku Sariel FCs as well. Chibamasu, the only FC for Chile. Pretty decent accuracy, but South Korea just looking like a force on this free mod. But it's an immediate hard rock 1 pick back from Chile. They are not going to be discouraged here. They're not down any kind of break points yet. They are still fully even in this match so far from that perspective.
But looking at the score difference between the maps that both team picks, you can kind of see a bit of a difference, which is slightly bit scary for Chile. Especially the first pick win is on a no mod 1 map, which is usually what we regard as like the 50-50 map. So not looking the best for Chile so far, but they surely have some picks up their sleeves, I would imagine. On to another OC original this year, either a map by Iken 50-50, Richo Oni. I know it is trying to make a joke of either Richo, so I'm gonna say it right here. Yeah, either Richo, your famous PP farm map, but this is not a PP farm map any slightest. OD 9.8 once again, BPM of 200, and there's a lot of burst in this map. Usually we got South Korea is not really a low BPM tag team, and this is your lower BPM tag team. This is actually slightly a bit similar to No Mod 2, but even more trickier in terms of rhythm.
Yeah, and really tricky in terms of accuracy as well. OD 9.8 after hard rock makes this just brutal to deal with. And I was talking with Driad X earlier during the US match, but does everyone like in chat and like all the players at Taiko World Cup, they know what Aether Ritual is, right? They're not too young, right? We're not old, right?
I'm sorry, I think we are old. I don't think anyone gets that joke anymore.
Chat, please back me up.
I'm sorry, we are old. And so does some of these players in the both teams roster. Kompaku has been playing Taiko World Cup since 2014, and Peaceful slightly bit less older than rest of the players, and Rosemary is actually a pretty old player as well, has been playing for World Cup since 2017. Noisy another name Chris Maggie, but now Rosemary back to Taiko, and he is showing off already in Haro 1 as well, and they just got someone who is as good as Peaceful on accuracy maps like this. 100 so far at the start, and that is already extremely impressive. And of course, Peaceful double S-ing.
Oh my goodness. South Korea already looking scary here, but the lead's still only around 20,000 points. It's only off of the back of accuracy. Chile needs to keep their accuracies up as high as they can. They need to try to keep it close to take advantage of any possible breaks or mistakes here from South Korea, but that lead continues to grow more and more. Chiba Masu having a little bit of trouble here. Aris not too far behind. Ulko, the only one really, showing off on this accuracy, actually the highest in the lobby now, after Peaceful and Rosemary found a couple more 100s.
Yeah, that is an impressive performance from Orko. And as we're speeding up now, and that is going to be giving slightly bit more comfortability to South Korea, I would say. This map is a very low density combo map compared to some of the maps we have, so a miss here actually hurts slightly a bit more than rest of the maps, but they are just not giving it. They're not giving any miss. They're not giving even anything to talk about. And there we go, a race for the first one to find a break, and that's not what you want to see for the Chileans. And now South Korea with 3 FC moving along on Chile's pick, and this might be a breakpoint. We're heading towards this breakpoint situation.
Yeah. Kompaku for South Korea, the only one even below 99 accuracy. Just ridiculous performances there. Although Ulko for Chile did put up the highest score in the lobby. Like, pretty ridiculous 5 100s.
Damn. That is some firepower half a shit for Orko here, trying to let Chile to win this pick. But unfortunately, they just don't really have a second and third high accuracy players on a map like this.
Yeah. And South Korea, once again, putting up just ridiculous performances on these modded picks here. The 6 100s from Peaceful, 12 100s from Rosemary. It's tough, and now that Chile is down a breakpoint, they officially have a wall to climb. They have something they have to come back against now, and that is a pretty startling position to be in.
And there's a lot more picks that Chile has to suffer as well. Picks such as like 3 Mod 1, Rock 2, I would say. Those are pretty South Korea heavy picks. I assume Chile will start picking some HDs after this Hard Rock 1 performance, like probably HD 1, HD 2, and no Mod 4. Those might be the picks that Chile go for. And of course, South Korea, after seeing what happened to 3 Mod 2, might as well just play another 3 Mod. This is actually the harder to hit Hard Rock map though. Optimal Solution, map by Arone Osu, and this map was featured in an American tournament on the New Year edition, also as a custom map in that tournament as a 3 Mod 1. It was semi-finals in that tournament, and it's also semi-finals in the World Cup. Yeah, that tournament is quite tough, and that is a North American and South American tournament, and Chiba Masu played in that tournament as well, and he did put on a 2 mod on this map.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if any Chilean players have a little bit of experience here. Chiba definitely does, although, of course, the South Koreans have had an entire week to get acclimated to this map, and given their free mod 2 performance, I don't know how much of a handicap we're going to end up seeing here as a result.
The patterns of this map is quite tough though, so you're probably gonna see slightly bit less double mod compared to what we saw on 3 Mod 2, surprisingly.
I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared we're gonna see it again.
Are we seeing it again?
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
We are seeing it again!
I don't know. Maybe my hands just don't work the same as these players.
Just
I mean, I have to wear glasses. I don't know.
True, they're just that good at reading. The first 400 combo on this map is not that rough, but after it, the difficulty shows. Like, this part you should be absolutely getting as high accuracy as possible, but there's a miss already from Maurice, and is the double mod really worth it? You're gonna start to crash in a situation like this. Lowest accuracy outside of that miss is Kompaku 98%. So far, South Korea's in the lead.
But Aris is recovering here. It looks like it might have just been one misread pattern here. Chile's gonna have to keep it up though. And the miss was early enough as well. The lead isn't too big off the back of it, but that's a much more impactful position.
Yeah, this map is very hard to play. If you're not that good at pattern response, those are some really weird 6-note patterning from Ironic, our mapper here, and that causes players to find a lot of misses. But Peaceful, not showing any weakness at all. 100 actually even outperforming Fremont 2.
It's just ridiculous, you know? Just ridiculous sometimes. But Chile, I mean, Chile needs something to happen to South Korea here in pretty short order. But the three Koreans just not showing a single sign of weakness here.
And here comes the even harder part. You're gonna see more weighted 1-6 that might cause players to miss, but they're just not giving us any. There goes Aris again. Seems like the pattern reading is just slightly too rough for him to read, and the map just never stops after this. There's still weird patterns after this part, and Chibai-Masu, despite outperforming his score by a lot compared to the American tournament, they are just facing an absolutely crazy score from South Korea. 99.96 from Piso, and 99.61 from
No,
Rosemary.
the second 100.
Unfortunate for Peaceful, but that is still gonna be one of the best scores in the weekend.
Ulko also putting up a really ridiculous score, by the way. 6 100s there, and then Rosemary with the 9. Just ridiculous, but unfortunately I think Chile just didn't have a third super strong hidden hard rock player. Again, that the team depth is coming around to bite them as these maps get this difficult. And Chile going to stay with the no-mod pool, actually. They're going to go to the SV map, no-mod 4.
Yeah, I mean, after what you saw on the modded picks, I think that makes sense. It's either going to be Hidden 2 or this. They're going to be trying to risk for South Korea to miss on the SV.
Yeah, I mean, SV or Gimmick is a pretty classic pick when you are when you're the lower seed. It's something that tends to be more of an equalizer, tends to be more of a 50-50. We actually see Rosemary hopping out for the first time this match. Appler's coming in to replace them, and Kyoshin XS also coming in for the first time here for Chile.
Kyoshin has been the third gimmick player for Chile. Very strong at gimmick, SVs and such. FC basically every previous week, so Kyoshin's ready to fight charge against South Korea. In South Korea, we do have the very old roster, Peaceful, Kompaku, and Annapolis. That is a lobby you probably would not expect to see in 2025. But that you can kind of say the same about Rosemary, because Rosemary is also like a very old player, a veteran team from South Korea. And Chile, more of a newer player team, Chibai-Masu, basically the second year playing Taiko World Cup and has been performing super well so far. Basically the second man of the Chilean teams. And Kyoshin's first year of playing Taiko World Cup, and they have been performing very well on the gimmick maps. Unfortunately, slightly bit lower skill cap than rest of the team, so the maps that they can show up is not a lot, but gimmick, they can definitely show up because it requires less skill cap.
Yep.
And I guess
also,
we'll be seeing the homework pick.
Yeah, shout out to Daria Core, by the way. our weekly Daria core map.
Yeah, we do have a weekly Daria core map. There's a lot of songs like this.
And unfortunately, Kyushin gonna be finding the first break there. One of those low SV sections. I think probably one of those mixed 1/8s that can kind of throw you off there.
It's a slow section. I'm kind of surprised that Apollos is the one to play Gimmick, honestly, out of everyone. And Apollos has been playing quite a bit of Gimmick than what you expect compared to 4 years ago, and now also getting a 99%, but again, some of the top performers of Chile that are a bit short. Chile needs a break from South Korea, and it's all comebackable because Orko and Chiba-Masu technically is outperforming compared to Annapolis. They're not giving anything! South Korea, both teams are not missing on this map. And there goes a break to Kyoshin's. Iso just traded in, but Kyoshin's missing again. And that's going to be the pawn for South Korea, as there's basically nothing. Match point secured for South Korea. 2 FCs for both teams, and Peaceful with 103 misses. Oh my lord. Once again though, Orko and Chiba-Masu desperately trying their best for the Chilean team. Very sick scores, but unfortunately again they just don't have a third. They don't have a consistency third play on this. Now Chile loses their pick, and South Korea can just close it out on the match like this. Let's see what SK gonna pick next. Again, there are a lot of options. Double time 1, they can just rescore. The other team don't have accuracy, and they're gonna pick Hard Rock 2 instead.
I mean, coming off a pretty solid victory on that Hard Rock 1. And this possibly the last pick Chile will see in the winner's bracket. Annihilation and F-sharp minor.
This is not technically a super high score speed though, but the patterns of this map is quite rough to play, and we have been not seeing Teruyama for the entire match, and there we go, as we speak, he pops in the lobby.
Hello, resident Hard Rock player. We see you.
He has been performing quite well so far in the entire tournament. Usually the trading the third between him and Aris, I guess as the pool gets harder, I do believe Aris will start to take over. Teruyama, a very strong reading player once again. Very good at hidden hard rock, and hidden well-rounded player after all, but skill cap probably slightly a bit lower than the rest of the board. But this map is not going to be a skill cap battle.
Yeah. This is about basically being able to play these kind of funky stream patterns here while also dealing with the scroll speed, which, like you said, not the highest scroll speed you'll see in a Hard Rock 2, but definitely enough to really give you trouble if you are not super confident with those streams.
And you're looking at the South Korean roster, you probably get
oh my goodness,
the best Hard Rock player in the world, the arguably top 5 Hard Rock player in the world, and arguably top 10 Hard Rock player in the world. So, yeah. It's a rough roster, and this is what they eat for breakfast. Peaceful can play 280 BPM hard rock. Rosemary can also play 280 BPM hard rock. Like, this is nothing. However, the weirder style change though may actually cut off some of these players because they are more accustomed to comfy speed patterns with extremely high scroll speed. Funky patterns on decently high scroll speed though may actually give some players a bit of trouble because of the reading style is quite different.
And here we go. A little bit of an accuracy lead early on here for South Korea, but it's still very, very close. See the star rating 6.84 before Hard Rock. That jumps up to, I believe, 7.53 after Hard Rock. Like, it becomes the hardest map in the pool by a pretty good margin too.
Yeah, the readings of this map is definitely not easy to Hard Rock. We know that Hard Rock does give this map quite a number of trouble. But so far, not giving any of these players trouble. They are just eating a 7.5 star maps in breakfast. However, the hard part starts after this. The chorus.
So far, the accuracy is looking really solid across the board. South Korea has a tiny bit of a lead here, but like the lowest accuracies in the lobby are like 99.4. This is really scary for all these players right now. Big streams coming through.
And Brahms crying. Not talking. They can't speak anything. They're just not giving us anything to talk about. It's almost all the first break.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's like 3,000 points separating these teams. It will flip over as the combo advantage continues to work its magic, but as these patterns get more difficult, the skill cap from South Korea on Hard Rock is going to give them a little bit of an accuracy advantage. They still have about a 5,000 point lead. Teriyama does find a miss for Chile as well, and another one up to 20,000 points here for South Korea, up to 30,000 points after this pattern. Teriyama starting to fall apart towards the end of the map here. The only player down below 99 accuracy. Chile now coming towards the end of the map. They are going to need to see a break from South Korea here, but we've already seen the hardest parts of the map. South Korea just has to make their way through this outro section. They make their way through that stream. Nobody breaking, nobody missing, nobody dropping a 100. I think South Korea is going to take this map.
That's it. So we only have the ending left, and then one single break from Rosemary is the only weakness from SK. Teriyama
peaceful assessed. Peaceful assessed.
You know, we talk about one of the best hard rock players in the world. He just shows it off. 6 from Appleless, 7 from Rosemary, 5 misses for Rosemary. Almost causes that map, but unfortunately, the accuracies and the miscounts for the rest of the Chilean players unfortunately cannot keep up to South Korea. Honestly, a pretty good performance from Chile. I mean, they did show why they're still in the winners bracket, but unfortunately, South Korea is undoubtedly the one who challenge the demons, the winners, the gorillas, the titans of the Taiko World Cup, Japan. South Korea moving on to top 3 of the tournament. Congratulations to them, but they are probably asking for more. Second seeded of the tournament, again, once again, having a returning of such big names. Appleless, Kompaku, Rosemary, and Chosun. You talk about this team, you would not expect these players to show up again. And this year, they were saying that, oh, we're gonna fall off. But no, they are here to play and here to win. Beating Chile in 6-1. Chile will be dropping down the loser brackets.
Yes, they will face the winner of Singapore and the UK. That's the 4 seed and the 10 seed. That match will be happening later on today. I believe that is the final match of the weekend. Meanwhile, South Korea goes on to face the winner of Japan and Taiwan. Next week is going to be a movie. It's going to be cinema. It's going to be Martin Scorsese, 2 hands in the air cinema.
True. However, some of the scores from South Korea might start to worry a little bit if the pools get even harder, because that seems like they are starting to miss out a bit more. And when we move out the accuracy battle, we can see Japan suddenly have a chance again. The next match is not going to be something late because it's actually going to be starting in around 20 minutes. So we only have a tiny break between the United States and China. And oh boy, it's gonna be a strong match because USA, I would say this year is a very mechanics team, and China is pretty much an anti-mechanics team. The score difference on each map may not be close, but the point difference may be very similar, as China strong at USA's weakness, and they might try their absolute hardest to scrap as many points as they can, because China, even facing South Korea, such a strong team, huge defense team, they did not give up, and they absolutely will not give up any against USA. So do come back in 90 minutes. It's going to be me and Brown's Crank again, and hope you guys all enjoy the stream. We'll be seeing you guys in around 4 UTC, 90 minutes later.
Yep, we'll see you next time. Adiosu. Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all you beautiful, wonderful people in between, and welcome back to the Osu Taiko World Cup 2025 semifinals. We have a very exciting losers bracket match for you today between the United States, the 3 seed, and China, the 7 seed. I am one of your commentators, Bronze Crank, joined here by Yanjin.
Hello, and I am very hyped about this match. USA and China. USA this year went from a hidden team where you associate this team usually to basically an all-round team, but however, I would say their skill cap is a bit more prominent compared to other skill sets this year, having players such as Silver Tyrant, Pet, and these two just a absolutely fantastic speed, no mod consistency player, very high AC in terms of them, and rest of the players usually combine between rest of the maps like HD, no mod tags, and gimmicky stuff. So a very interesting USA this team. Definitely a bit of a roster change, or just a direction change you expect. And China, a very high accuracy, stream, and hidden team. So both teams are good at different skill sets. So we might see a very close match in terms of points, but not in terms of score.
Yeah, I think it should be pretty exciting here. We do see the US winning the roles here. And the US in the losers bracket early for their seeding. If y'all remember last weekend, got upset by Chile in that really exciting match that went to tiebreaker. Now playing with a bit of a chip on their shoulder here. They want to prove that they can earn that number 3 seed. They want to try to make a tear through the losers bracket. And we saw yesterday they started that reign of terror there. They were able to sweep Turkey really handily.
Yeah, the Turkish players were also looking at the scores. I think they were kind of skill cap, and 2, I don't think they were putting a lot of practice because USA is probably close to impossible for them. Like Tower of 2 was like their only real chance. Also the Tower of 1, but other than that, USA gonna be facing a lot stronger opponent though, and especially focus on different things. It's an entire hidden pool this time for the Chinese, and of course no mod 5 and no mod 4 as well. Like the Chinese should be very good at those skill sets, and they are gonna be banning out Hard Rock 1, not banning Hard Rock 2. Interestingly, probably knowing that USA also not exactly a very strong speed reading team in history. Not in this year though, and USA banning out Double Time 1 again, probably just don't want to touch them at all. Not banning Hidden 1, so interesting for the USAs, for the Americans.
Yeah, Hidden 1's been interesting. I feel like I've seen like people not really banning it, but also not wanting to pick it either. It's been a little scary.
Yeah, people probably see that map kept banned every time and like, yeah, no one is gonna pick it anyway. Just don't pick it. Just don't pick it and don't ban it. Why raise your bans? So they're gonna be leaving Hidden 1 on the board, and USA going for no mod 2 as their first pick. Hyperlights. Of course, USA this year we mentioned focus on skill cap, focus on tech. I mean, they have Silver Tyrant and Pets, these two absolute monsters for them. And usually the third will be filling in for will be either Miniature Lamp or Aurora on a map like this, or even RJ on a tech-heavy map. So 3 is up to debate, but the top 2 players are basically guaranteed on the board on a map like this. China though has been showing slightly bit weaker on the tech categories, so I do understand what is the first pick from USA.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting pick here. A very 1/6 heavy tech map. It is, I think, for some reason it really reminds me of, even though it's not exactly the same style of map, it really reminds me of a Scorpion Girl, the EGTS map. Like, I feel like it has a very similar vibe. Just very dense tech at a low BPM.
Yeah, it's like not that high in terms of BPM as well. This map is like 152 kinda, and it's also 200. I think it's 152 only, and then the entire map was just like 16, 114, 18.
Yeah, like most of this map, you're playing like more 1/6 than 1/4 sometimes. It is very, very funny.
Yeah, it's kind of like No Mod 6. So yeah.
Yeah, No Mod 6 is a different beast. No Mod 6 scares me. Strikes fear into my heart.
We're probably going to be seeing USA pick that next, but for now, we're passing on to No Mod 2. Usually the Chinese weakness, Super SSS, KK Negative, and Michael ONL filling in for the Chinese roster. And again, tech, you're most likely going to be seeing these 3 players. However, that does mean slightly bit of a weakness from Chinese team, because technically KK Negative is not exactly the best player on a map like this, and he's basically being forced to fill in, but he has been doing absolutely fantastic so far, despite me mentioning his name 100% on the first 200 combo, but the real beast starts very soon.
Super SSS dropping the first break here for China. However, China's still actually holding on to a lead despite the... Actually, that was not a break. That was a Bancho miss. So they are holding on to an accuracy lead right now. But it is so tight. We see it flickering back over to the US here.
Slowly closing in, especially Pat is still in 2-100 so far. And Silver Tyrant's on 4, but KK Negative outperforming people's expectations so far, still on to 99.66, a lot better than compared to yesterday. He's still holding it, but the hard part may cause some trouble for the Chinese team.
This is a shorter map, it's just over 2 minutes long, but Pet! Oh my goodness, that might just do it. If China doesn't find a break, they might be able to hold accuracy well enough to take a break point just off of that unfortunate miss there. Mini Lamp as well struggling just a little bit with accuracy, making up for KK Negative struggle here. Michael ONL, Super SSS holding good enough accuracy to keep China in the lead, only by about 6,000 or 7,000 points, but it's dropping a little bit. KK Negative dropping a few 100s, as is Michael ONL. Mini Lamp though dropping a couple 100s to trade, but it's still in the US's favor by only a few 100s. We are into the final patterns of the map. This last 1/6 is not gonna do it. Holy moly.
That miss did not matter on USA. Oh my god, they almost lost that break pawn. Lost that pawn, but 5-100 and 8-100 from Pat really saved themselves with the accuracy. 19 for Miniature Lamb matching against Michael ONL, and KK Negative, Super SSS also performing quite decent as well. Actually outperforming their score by a lot yesterday, but unfortunately, they just could not do it. You can see the Chinese teams never give up, and they are here to give USA a run for the money.
Yeah, China has, I think, historically been a team that has been scary into these rounds, especially the last couple of years. They are proving that way once again. They really don't want to go down without a fight here. And we're about to see their first pick here. They're going to try to get themselves on the board. Free Mod 1 is the pick.
A very good pick. Very good pick from China. I mean, they pretty much gonna be picking all the hidden maps and all the free mob maps. They don't have much choice. Free mod 1 as their first pick. Optimal solution. Basically, they will pick free mod as when they want to get rid of Cat and Silver Tyrant, because those players usually doesn't put on double mod, and China just have a flat out double mod team scores in general. Super SSS and KK negative, not Super SSS, but KK negative is an absolutely fantastic hidden hard rock player. However, this map is very hard to act.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, I feel like my expectations now are set really high because we just came off of that South Korea-Chile match where both teams put up 3 hidden hard rock scores on both the free mods, but like, these two teams might be good enough to do it again.
Yep. Honestly, I don't think so for USA. I can see USA put on a double mod, like from Aurora and LJ, but the third may have a bit of a struggle. Again, this map was featured in North American tournament, and both Aurora and LJ hit on hard rock in that tournament. And Aurora get a 98% FC, like 1.08 million score, around 2 months ago, so he can just replicate that again. However, it's gonna be a tough order against China, but they do have a bit of a home ground advantage on this map.
Yeah, got a little bit of experience with it already. Like you've said, China is a really scary free mod team to go against.
Alright, you look at Super SSS message. Which one do you think is his real name? They were trying to bring the third player in, but they can't spell his name. Like, they are actually struggling to spell his name.
They got this.
It makes no sense.
Some people's names you just gotta copy paste them in.
Is LAISBGVI or LASIBGIV or LAISBVGI? Which one is it? There we go. His name has been spelled, and we call him the sushi guy because sushi bro, because that's how the Chinese team call him as well. And they just call him in the Chinese name Sousuke, which means sushi. So we're just gonna call him sushi. A very prominent HD player. Rank is a bit quite low compared to the rest of lobby, but do not let that fool you because it's your Chinese player moment. There will be some very underranked players, so does Michael ONL, because they rarely lock in, but they do lock in that match. But again, looking at this roster though, you know that he's gonna be putting on 1 mod. We are not seeing this guy putting on 2 mod. He's not that good at hard rock after all, but hidden, absolutely phenomenal at it. And Pat, again, phenomenal at hard rock, not that strong on hidden. He can play hidden, but probably gonna be avoiding HDHL in any case. We'll be starting on free mod 1. Finally, everyone is ready up.
So do you think Sushi has the most difficult name to spell in Taiko World Cup? Do you think?
I think so. I think so.
I'm trying to think of names that might, like, I think there are names that are maybe like rival in terms of pronunciation difficulty, but in terms of like remembering how to spell, it could be like a 1 seed, you know?
Yes, I think so. I think Chris on Italian team also is quite hard. It's CLHIS or CHRIS, but that is also another difficult to spell name. But anyway, back to this match. We actually see LJ putting on 1 hidden only and not risking for a hidden hard rock this time. So 1 mod disadvantage for USA.
Yeah, that's gonna end up being tough. We can already see the lead forming as a result, but KK Negative does find a break on that hidden hard rock. Pet trades it on the hard rock though. Both players suffering pretty harsh accuracy drops at the same time. However, a break for a break does get China the lead.
Oh no, LJ missed on the slowdown. That is
The
a
hidden
big break for
classic.
USA. Definitely, but on the other team, Sushi is not showing it at all though. Still F-Sync with a 99%, but the map gets a lot harder after this part, especially with weird patterns.
Oh my goodness. Hidden's gotta be like the most unfortunately funny mod to play because you do just miss on slow sections that are 2 stars. Het and Sushi going to trade there. 2 FCs to 1 now for the US. That lead's going to start coming back, but I think the US needs a bit more to counteract combo advantage. Sushi missing once again could provide that though. Lead still above 30,000 points though. The US still needs more. Super SSS is more. That is a break, and that is another series of breaks as well. But the accuracy is still really solid for this Chinese squad. The US, 2 FCs to none, but it might just not be enough. Less than 30,000 points is the lead now, but we're in the outro here. There's not much more score for China to bleed out, and they are going to take the pick.
KK Negative hold on to the last part. He recovered his combo quite well. But LJ dropping a lot of 100s on this map really causes the map. Aurora once again basically replicating his performance in NSET, the American tournament. Of course, achieving a 98.5% FC with Hidden Hard Rock, the only one FCing the map. But unfortunately, his teammates are just not there to back him up. Not enough score for them to win this map just yet. LJ did beat out Sushi, but Pat with a 1 single more. Unfortunately, he needs a double X to even match against KK Negative. And that is our first point for China. Not as confident that we would expect from a Chinese team on a 3-mod pick, and if you are a team who is stronger than other team's weakness, this might be a big sign of a problem here.
Yeah. China's going to have to keep bringing their A game here. They need to keep taking these picks. The US now on their next pick here. We've been suspecting Nomad 6 as the US's second pick to follow up the first Nomad tech slot. We'll see if that comes true. There's a couple other tech maps in the pool, although the bans have actually taken out a couple of them, taken out the Hard Rock 1 and DT 1. I guess Hidden 1 qualifies as tech, but you aren't picking that into China.
True, and probably gonna be Nomad 6. I mean, Nomad 6, no it all, 300 BPM, and USA is gonna pick it. There we go. Yeah, I don't think there's any debate. Their first 3 picks is probably just gonna be Nomad 2, Nomad 6, and then Nomad 3. Another high mechanics demanding map. Like I mentioned, 300 BPM, again 300 BPM, and USA has absolutely 3 player for it. Silver Tyrant, probably even 4 player on it. Silver Tyrant, Mitchell, Pat, Aurora, any one of them can play a map like this. And China though, it's gonna be letting Michael and now subbing in for Sushi, because Sushi, again like we mentioned, not that high in terms of skill cap. Their hidden reading is really good, but China in general just don't have a third player on a map like this. Michael and now might even actually outperform some of their teammates where KK Negative, with the one having slightly bit trouble on this map. Pat has been finding slightly bit off mistakes, but his accuracy is on point to stand, and as long as he holds on the accuracy and don't miss 50 billion times and lock in the stream, then I think USA should grab this point.
Yeah, this map is just... I mean, this map is such a brutal tech map here. But like you said, the US... Yeah, it's like the players are good enough to deal with it.
Like, it just won 4 in 300 BPM, especially the second part, when the SV scrolls up. And they're just basically playing it as a speed map, rather than your hack map. Might go in and out, take a bit of a time to load in, but he is fortunately, no disconnections from the Chinese team, and will be start. Same roster as Nomad 2, expected because of a very similar map.
I love doubles. I think Michael O&L and Minilamp can agree.
Yeah, 2 want to just be dropped by Michael at the start of the map.
It happens, it happens. We can already, I mean, you can already see just what kind of map this is. So far, everyone looks mostly comfortable here. Michael ONL, though, dropping a miss as well as quite a few 100s. Mini Lamp, though, going. Oh my goodness! Oh, that's
gone.
Huge break from Mini Lamp. 30,000 points is the lead for China, and Mini Lamp drops again.
And that's 2 miss in a row. One gigantic one. That is a very good news for China, especially with a miss from Silver Tyrant. The Titan, the normal Titan, has fallen. It's only Pat left against the Chinese team, and this might be the window for China to come back. And Silver Tyrant misses it again. Seems like they're just not holding on. Here's a slow part, but there's a 300 BPM sessions very soon, coming up very soon, where China may have some trouble because KK Negative is not exactly your best speed player after all. Does find a break on the slow session, but it all comes down to the last part. Only Super SS and Pat is holding on, but that miss from Miniature Lamb really butchers their team score.
And on the slow section, China just has to hold. China just has to hold.
Can they hold is the problem. All eyes on KK Negative. Can he hold on the 300 BPM? This part is going to be lasting for 200 to 20 seconds. Miniature Lamb going to be first in the final drop. And I think China...
Oh my goodness. I think China's going to get it. I think China is going to take the first breakpoint here. Stunned. Absolutely stunned. Super SSS with a monster FC there. And China has taken a breakpoint off of the United States. This could be the start of something pretty scary here. You're talking about these teams have pretty different skill sets. We're expecting each team, to be able to win their own picks pretty comfortably. Now that paradigm has kind of been a bit affected here, the US suddenly on the back foot here. US needs to find a way to win one of China's picks. And for all we were talking about how Fremont 1 ended up a bit shakier than, China may have wanted, the US still needs to be able to take one of these, like the Fremont 2. They need to be able to maybe win one of the hiddens. It's looking tricky right now.
USA actually performed very well yesterday with 8-100 FC, with 19-100 FC, and 13-109 miss. But unfortunately, they cannot replicate that performance. Honestly, quite mind-boggling performance from USA. You expect them to take that map quite confidently. Like even one singular break or two misses on that map would not matter that much, but everyone I think low rolled that map. So unfortunate situation for USA, and now picking for hidden one China, and now going for the slow SV reading map.
We get Daria Core again. Let's go.
And finally, we finally see this map as well, the besties. We have never seen this map before in the entire weekend, despite no one banned it. This map has a lot of SV difference, starting from slow, but end up being quick and high mechanics required in the second half. And USA completely swapping their roster with RJ and Cheese Salad in for their team.
Seeing some roster switch-ups here. We're seeing Cheese Salad come in for the first time for the US. Okuro Bisona coming in for the first time for China.
Yeah, I mean, who is the third? I'm pretty sure Super SSS or Sushi should be their third on a map like this. This map requires reading, and yep, they get a timeout.
Is this the first time Lil Pump has appeared in a Osu World Cup tournament?
I just realized what you meant.
I mean, we're breaking boundaries here, I think. The more funny songs we get, the better.
We do have Justin Bieber on round 16.
True.
So, So we might get more samples throughout the maps. And yeah, we do see China timing out right now. So gonna be making us wait a little bit before we see the festival we have on Hidden One. Hidden One usually a very exciting map to watch because you just see someone completely losing their mind on the map like this. And
yeah. Oh no,
2
China's
minutes
gone
and
from 2 players to 1 player.
2 minutes and 50 seconds, and now we do see that the players swapping out just to play the map. And there goes the Shisada as well. We might see some more players just dipping out and
Yeah,
just
it's
to
like
play the map.
Let me make sure I know what I'm about to get myself into here.
Now Jay and Miniature Lamp refusing that though. Minato is in!
Hi Minato, what are you doing here? Why is everyone in chat saying happy birthday?
I have no idea.
Happy birthday, very Asian boy.
Happy birthday, very Asian boy.
That's not even the right team! Sushi!
Oh, he's in. He's finally in. And he's a bit late. He might be the third player that China wants.
Okay, KK Negative's back.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be KK Negative, Sushi, and Okura for China. And Cheese Salad out. Yeah, Cheese Salad out, J and Miniature Lamb. Probably gonna be the US roster.
Oh, now Okura's on the wrong team. There we go, there we go. And Cheese Salad back in. Alright, I think we've got it. I think we figured it out.
They used 2 minutes to play the map, and let's see. And both teams ready up. RJ and Venezuela refuse to play the map or staying in the lobby before though. So they are really confident, probably.
You don't even have enough time to play the whole map. It's a long hidden one. I guess, I mean, play it hidden DT. Play it hidden DT, and then you'll have seen the whole map.
To be fair, the second half of the map is a lot speedier. Like, it's more about mechanics. And honestly, USA actually beats China on last weekend Hidden One, so they're not necessarily losing a Hidden One pick. They are a bit weaker on Hidden on paper, but if they're just enough miss from China, they can definitely grab this. And especially there's a bit of a speed requirement in the second half, and I think that benefits USA quite a bit. The speed. You look at the roster, RJ, Miniature Lamb,
it's over.
Salad.
It's over.
We see someone. You see someone's Don Chan, PP Don Chan is a bit upset compared to the others. I wonder what happened there. But anyway, like I mentioned, everyone in the USA can play speed. Not the same about China though, so we'll see.
Yeah, the US really wants to get this win here. They want to make up for that breakpoint as soon as possible. Right now, China has a pretty sizable accuracy advantage. Early on here, Cheese Salad going to break. It is traded by Sushi, but it looks like China got the better of the trade. Yeah, Cheese Salad have a lot of trouble here.
Kind of surprising here. You expect USA usually have a 3-player roster on the slow HD map, but seems like questionably no, because Cheese Salad is dropping down the B at the south of the map. And that might be someone's weakness being exposed to what you won't be expecting that USA have previous few years.
KK Negative gonna be dropping during this brutal slowdown here.
Pretty sure Cheese Salad should be leading back in. He is actually holding on good accuracy in this part.
Big breaks here from Minilamp. Also dropping accuracy down into the 95 range, and RJ is going to match as well, also dropping a bunch of accuracy. Minilamp dropping once again. Okura Persona is going to trade, however it's 150,000 points in favor of China now. A monstrous lead.
KK Negative gonna be respawning a break just like Miniature Lab. He could not get it back, and that closes the lead by quite a bit, but they probably need around 3 misses like that from China to grab this back. And Sushi with a 99% topping the lobby so far despite the first break of the match. Okura falling behind him, and the rest of the 3 players from the US are basically matching against KK Negative, so they need a huge break from the Chinese team. But they are speed left, and that's the USA part. Can they take it back before though? But
RJ.
It's not.
It's such a big lead though.
Yeah, seems like the USA players has lost the rhythm in the slow sessions too much. They probably know they're not gonna bring this back. We have the speed part left, but it's just a little bit too late. They have no combo.
It's kind of very solid win there. No FCs on the board, but really solid accuracies from both Sushi and Okura.
One miss from Sushi, I mean, that is really good on slow HD pick. KK Negative trying his best to support as their teams as much as possible, and he did not fluke it. 3-1.
Apparently Okura is also dead as per that heartbeat roll there. You want a bit higher than that, I think. That can't be healthy. Either you're dead or you have been a marathon runner for like 30 years.
And of course, USA bringing back their no more free map like expected.
Yep, staying in that no mod pool. They still need to make up a breakpoint, but before they do that, they need to win their own picks. And they're going to try to do that here on the No Mod 3, the 300 BPM No Mod speed map.
Like we mentioned about this map, about USA picking strategy, No More 2, No More 6, and No More 3. That's basically their first 3 picks. No More 6 was a huge blow for some reason for the USA team. And if they repeat again on this map, I think the match is, I don't want to say it, but if they lose this match by a huge blow, I think it's pretty much seals it. This match,
yeah.
Like China may grab a historical upset.
The US really needs to lock in here. But
They should.
we got a lot of match to go.
Yes, even if they perform slightly a bit worse, I think they still get it. Like they just have a huge favorite on like any speed mechanic maps because China team kind of don't have free play on them, and they just force themselves to play it. And even the first player on China can usually just match again Miniature Lamp. So as long as USA just don't perform bad on free players, they would grab this. However, No More 6 did happen. Would it happen again on the White's level?
Yeah, and it is pretty scary because, like, kind of like we were saying on the No Mod 6, it is a more speed-focused tech map. Like, No Mod 6 is kind of just a techie 300 BPM map, so going into another 300 BPM No Mod, you know, that's going to be in the back of your mind if you're the US. You know that China might be a lot more competent on these faster maps than you realize, and you need to be putting up a really good score here, lest you give them a chance to come back in on you. And right now it's 1-100 to 1-100, but KK Negative drops a couple more. Very slight accuracy lead for the US, but it's going to flicker between these two teams here. And Pet actually going to drop here on this first chorus, drop twice.
Yeah, it's not a big break though, so it's still enough for USA to come back just and there are a lot more finishers in this map. We do see Pat did not hit that finisher, so he's also losing the finisher score. But China maybe a lot better than what we expected, question mark. The second half of the map is a lot more dense though. We are almost 50% of the map and the players are barely 40% of the scores. So you know the second half is a lot more dense.
Yeah. Ooh. KK Negative does drop, I believe, at the end of that stream there. Pretty much a solitary miss, but that combo advantage does go away for China. The scores are going to even out just a little bit here. China's still about 7,000 points in the lead here. That's a handful of 100s in a map where both teams have only dropped a handful all map. 100th and a miss being dropped by KK negative. The lead swings back over.
Seems like the speed cap is a little bit too much for the Chinese players to handle. Pats has just been missing on nothing, but the easier part for the Chinese team are missing on the harder parts of the map. So you can see the hard parts are saving the USA, and USA just need to prevent some of those silly misses. Pat did miss right after the finisher though, and that's a
However, Silver Tyrant and Mini Lamp holding so strong here, really keeping the US score intact. Super SSS the only person doing that for China. Oh my goodness!
Alright, you just cursed the entire American team. Miniature Lamp completely missed that stream, but thankfully was traded by Michael's completely missed on that stream too. If that did not happen, China would have scrapped that point. But USA take that at the end, but again, it's not the absolute best performance.
I apologize to the entire country of the United States of America. It won't happen again.
You are cursing them. You are helping China to win. We see the imposter. Okay.
Oh no.
The cursing haters are affecting one team slightly a bit more than the other team. And Super SSS, being the only one did not get cursed. 5-100 to end of the map.
Yeah, Silver Tyrant's accuracy as well, absolutely ridiculous. 2 100s there. Just those 2 unfortunate misses at the end of the map. We move on here to China's next pick, and it's going to be Hidden 2, staying in that hidden pool.
Yeah, probably. I mean, after this though, they do have no more 4 and 3 mod 2 just left. A bit more of a hit and required maps again, because a surprising ban from USA on double time 1 makes China can just pick all the reading maps in this match.
Yeah. And this is, I think, less of a reading heavy hidden than the hidden 1 was, but it is still a hidden map nonetheless. It's still something I think China's gonna have an advantage on, and I don't think it's enough of a speed map where the US, can invoke the advantage they were getting on No Mod 3.
The reading is a lot easier though for some players. They're a bit of off patterns, but the off patterns are the only difficult part. Like, it's the stamina and the reading stamina, the hand stamina, but the awkward patterns are not appearing that much. I think that does help USA a bit.
Also, do we have any Mania players in chat? I know we had a Mania player in lobby last tourney, or last match. Do you have any Epsilon Dan enjoyers? This is like if you were playing Epsilon Dan but on halftime, and also in a completely different game mode. If that helps.
I have no idea about Mania, but we do have a Mania player here, Minato. The HD2 guy, the speed reading guy. The speed a little bit too quick for him to play, so he'll be in for the speed hidden maps. Minato subbing in for Sushi, where you expect Sushi to play hidden usually, but because of the speed required, so Sushi is not able to play this map because of how difficult it is. USA with RJ, Miniature M, and Cheese Salad. No Aurora, no Pats this time.
Yeah, it's a pretty worrying lineup there for the US. You have to sub out 2 of your best players. But this is a tricky map. This is a tricky hidden map. It's tricky on the speed factor as well, not necessarily in terms of raw speed, but like you need to be able to play 250 for a pretty extended length of time. This map just does not let up after the first break.
Yesterday is actually Patu filling in this map. And now Cheese Salad, more of a your expected filling in roster player from a map like this. Even though Pat is decent and hidden, but Cheese Salad with on speedier hidden is definitely more of a regular lineup for USA you expected on a map like this. China may get a bit burst cap on the map. because of the BPM. But despite this being hidden, I completely see USA have chance on this map. RJ Miniature Lamp, after all, is a very good speed hidden player.
Yeah, definitely a lot more of a chance for the USA here than on Hidden 1. And so far, the US does have a very slight accuracy advantage, but that's going to get bigger there. KK negative dropping right before that big slider. It's not an accuracy drop along with it, though, so it's just going to be the extra combo advantage. WLY Minato dropping right before the slow section.
It's a bit of an advantage to the USA as Miniature Lamp so far having only 2 100, RJ on 3, she's out on 5, matching up Super SSS with 2 misses from China. Might give a slightly advantage to USA, but USA is not prone to not missing either. They have been missing a little bit on the off sessions, and that is a miss from Cheese Salad, a bit of a chance for China, but KK negative instantly trades it back.
Super SSS, the only one holding it down for China right now, but the accuracies, the backup accuracies here from KK Negative and WLA Minato, keeping them in. It's 30,000 points separating these two teams, and we still have just under half of this map to go. The stamina is going to start coming in over time. It's going to become more and more of a factor. We're going to see more breaks. We're going to see more accuracy drops, and China needs to keep it as close as possible. They want to be able to take advantage of the mistakes that, the US has been prone to making all match. But if they let the US start running away with this accuracy advantage more and more, they won't be able to come back if that happens. We're getting closer to the end of the map now. Players crossing the 900,000 point threshold. Super SSS is going to drop. That is the final FC down for China. The United States still on 2 FCs and a huge recovery combo here from Cheese Salad. And it looks like the US will take back the breakpoint and will even this match out 3-3.
Yeah, it's an unbeatable score for USA. I'm pretty sure these are just really good scores. Cheese Salad, despite what you mentioned being a filler player, 9 105 misses on this map, and that is a filler player score that you are not scoff at. But Miniature Lamp outperforming everyone in the lobby for 100.
Scoring above above 1.06 million on a hidden, just casual things.
They did perform quite questionable on No More 6, and a bit of an off performance on No More 3 at the ending, but now making up for it on Hidden 2 for 100 in this map.
And the US sticking with the No Mod pool, we are going to see No Mod 1 up next. Pretty interesting pick here. One of the easier maps in the pool, 240 BPM, pretty, standard all-round No Mod 1 stuff. And one of the more kind of coin flippy maps in the pool as well. This is quite an interesting pick here.
This is kind of a weird pick. I think if you talk about consistency, USA is usually not a team that would win a consistency act pick.
Yeah, especially China being known as like a more consistent team, especially this tourney.
Yeah, especially.
And I mean, with the performances we've been seeing as well, it's... I mean, obviously, I can't question them too much. They're the ones that made the pick. They know what kind of scores they've been putting up, but it's a coin flippy kind of pick here, and the US might have that coin weighted against themselves right now. But everything remains to be seen here. Silver Tyrant and Miniature Lamp coming. Well, Miniature Lamp staying in, Silver Tyrant coming back in for the US.
Probably going to be Pat on the third player, but Pat is not that strong on finishers, which this map has quite a number of them. The rest of the map, he should be like a comfy, probably even comfy SS for him. There is one very long mono burst, and that makes player breaks if you're a bongo player, and Michael is a bongo, and that gives a bit of, I think that mono pattern may give a bit of a chance to USA.
Yeah, they just have to hold a decent lead before then and hope that that pattern creates the separation they need.
Rest of the players should be fine in this map. Actually, Miniature Lamb is also a Bongo, Silver Tyrant. Pat is the only non-Bongo on the USA team on this lineup. But the Silver Tyrant can play 9-star maps. It is only 6.88, so the mono probably not gonna be a main thing for him. Mini though might miss on the mono, and hopefully that's not the case of US if you're a US supporter.
Yeah.
That mono may spill the difference, spill the tea of this map.
We'll have to see what happens until then. Right now, all 6 players holding really solid accuracy. Super SSS going to be dropping a few 100s, Pet trading. China now with a very, very slight accuracy advantage early on here. This map just under 2.5 minutes long. Not super long, but not super short either. And that lead for China actually growing just a bit here. Super SSS has recovered where the US has not as much.
I mean, again, you're risking for consistency pick against USA, China, and I think that is a break from Michael now twice in a row. Gives USA that is a saving grace that the Americans needed because of that off-miss from Pat on the finishers again.
Yeah, that is the kind of cushion that the US needed here. Now they're able to be a little bit more comfortable here. Still only about 20,000 points. It's still pretty much a break and some change separating these two teams, and the hardest patterns have yet to come. But the US can breathe just a little bit here. KK Negative dropping there is going to help.
That's an off miss from KK Negative. Seems like missing on a bit slightly higher scroll speed. And USA finally starting to see a bit more comfy lead. 2 breaks in favor of them, but again that mono could have just changed the entire result. We have seen no more free. Here comes the mono, nobody breaks on it. All the DDKK players actually smash it through. 99.83 from Silver Tyrants. Mono is nothing for him, and he's just gonna smash everyone out of the park in this map. And we only have the ending left, and as long as there's no serious breaks from the USA, that is going to be it, because there's not much hard part of the map left, and seems like the doubts on USA did not happen, and they managed to grab back the 4th point.
Super solid performances across the board for the US. I mean, just look at those 100 counts across the board. KK Negative, the best 100 count on China, tying the worst 100 count from the US. That is a dominant performance right there. Silver Tyrant and Mini Lamp with absolutely fantastic FCs. Super SSS not too far behind, but the US, I think, shoring up just a little bit here. They don't want to, they don't want to go down here. They really do not want to go down here, get that 7th place. They want to continue moving on. They want to be a big force in the losers bracket here, but China putting up a huge fight.
Yeah, China probably going to be moving to no more 4 after all those hidden and free mod pick has been selected, and I think if they're not playing free mod 2, they're probably not going to pick it. So the Daria call map, probably the direction the Chinese teams want to go for. Just go for reading maps, and again get rid of the no mod stiff spike, not diff spike, but steel cap battle, because USA has clearly the better steel cap players and better mechanics players than the Chinese team, and there's like one advantage that I think both teams know that. But they're gonna be picking 3 more 2 now. Alright, so no more 4, I guess they'll be saving no more 4 at last, and instead gonna go for Black Row.
So this is the anti-mod free mod, although paradoxically, like you've said, a little bit easier to double mod, though that is not to say that it is easy to double mod. This is a brutal map.
Focus on the slow sessions a bit more, so I do believe HD players need to be a bit better, but again they have faster scroll speed than 3 mod 1, so players also need to be good at hard rock, but not as mechanics demanding. So some players on the US team may actually able to put on a 2 mod on this. Players such as like Aurora and RJ may be able to just put on a double mod. And China, looking at roster, I think they're going for 1 double mod for KK Negative, hidden for Okura, and probably hidden for Super SSS as well. I'm not seeing Super SSS to go for OD 9.8 hidden hard rock. It's just not something that he's known to play, and especially with how fast the scroll speed is. I think he might just avoid that. And USA, again, Aurora double mod. China is going to be avoiding hidden hard rock as usual. LJ is questionable. Maybe seeing a double mod on LJ.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably why China elected to wait on the free mod 2. They probably don't have the ability to put up 5 mods on it like the free mod 1. As a result, they don't get to depend on the mod advantage that gave them the win in free mod 1. Like, without that mod advantage in free mod 1, they lose by like 30,000 points. So it's going to be interesting here when we, I think, have a much higher likelihood of seeing equalized mods.
Yeah.
And we do, I believe, see equal mods. 1 hidden hard rock, Aurora Phasmata, and KK Negative. And then hiddens all across the bottom of our screen here.
Dude, hidden team moment. Both teams are really more hidden favorite teams when these players show up, especially for USA. So you know that this is a hidden battle, and thankfully all the players also line up perfectly to let us see all the mods difference. So you can see KK Negative versus Aurora on the top of your screen, and the bottom 4 players all with a singular hidden mod. I'm surprised that USA did not go for a hard rock play on this, because I do expect Silver Tyrant can just put on the hard rock on this map. I guess they will be focusing on hidden focus.
Yeah, we're getting into the first of our slow sections here. Aurora Phasmata actually having a bit of trouble on this hidden hard rock, dropping quite a bit of accuracy compared to KK Negative, and China now has a 30,000 point lead as a result. No breaks yet, though, and lots of map to go. Lots of really tricky stuff for all these players to navigate, and Minilamp's going to be the first to find a miss.
And Mono, they're forcing Mini to find a break. Now there's a chance for China to just run away with this 50,000 points difference, and more slow part meant for favor towards the Chinese team because they are really good slow HD players. Look at Okura, look at Super SSS.
Yeah.
Despite Super SSS did not play hidden 1, he is still known to be strong at slow HD, and that is a very good HD team score from Chinese.
Yeah, just ridiculous accuracies there. Minilamp pulling the accuracy once again above that 99 mark. That is, I believe, 99. Either night. In either case, that is 98. Okay. It was covered up by like the hidden mod. But we are getting into the final, I believe, final Ki here. Speeding up just a bit. KK Negative actually going to get taking a huge hit on that speed up there. China still has a score lead, but it is cut down to only about 15,000 points. That's easily within 1 break. And the lead is bleeding just a bit as well. The accuracy troubles now coming into KK Negative. Aurora has retaken the lead on accuracy.
Okura was dropping so many 100s. He was hitting too early and instantly mid-shifts to USA.
No.
USA might steal it at the last minute, last part of the map, and USA didn't. They steal Chinese point. They steal the most important one for China. That's why they're hesitant to pick it. And this shows USA takes the 5th point onto the match point, and they can just close out with Hard Rock 2 now. And that accuracy drop from Okura in the end causes the map and the miss from KK Negative. So unfortunate for China.
Heartbreak for China. That is just a brutal way to lose that pick there. Like, it took both the big chain miss from KK Negative and the big chain accuracy drop from Okura. And now China needs to win the next 2 maps. They need to win the USA's next pick, and that's so difficult. The US has gone from possibly facing a scary upset situation to winning 4 maps in a row and getting to match point. The US suddenly looking very, very scary once again. Going into the Hard Rock 2, like you said. Oh boy.
Yeah, I think this is pretty much a given pick. Not even Hard Rock 2, there's also DT1, like DT2. Like they're just two very clear picks for USA. And avoid shit missable map, and I guess Hard Rock 2 is the map here. Annihilation in F minor, and not only that, tiebreaker as well is also very in favor of USA because it's skill cap. And USA has a bunch of skill cap players. And we might be seeing Hard Rock 2 to end up the match again. We have been seeing Hard Rock 2 to end up matches 3 times in a row. USA versus Turkey ends on Hard Rock 2. The last match ends on Hard Rock 2. And this match may potentially ends in Hard Rock 2. It's looking kinda likely though.
This is D-Day for China here.
Yeah,
this is going to be a tough one to win.
And like Minato mentioned, despite being an amazing Hard Rock 2 player, he has never played Hard Rock 2 in their entire life for 5 World Cup. And this guy has played in World Cup for how many years? 2 to 3. Yeah, it's We Love You Minato. He is a saving grace for the Chinese team. He is a Hard Rock 2 player. But are there any more Hard Rock 2 players on China? Taking negative, yes. Third player though, this might be China's. They are trying to make USA not pick it and hope USA to chirp this map. And USA absolutely have 3 players in this map. And all the Chinese members are putting their hope on the Minato's hand. All saying we love you, just like his name, we love you Minato.
Yeah, this is quite the tricky Hard Rock 2. It is not the most reading intensive Hard Rock 2 in the world. However, it makes up for that by the fact that the patterning of the streams in this map are just way funkier than you might expect, which can like throw you off if you are used to just reading simple patterns at super high speeds. Like, it is a different style of Hard Rock 2 reading, but I expect the US to do really well regardless. They already finished off one team today.
They finished the second one. Looking quite likely. They have the pick, and they have the TB to back them up. Start of the map. Minato is not really your awkward patterns players despite a very high scroll speed readers. But so could be super success. A weird pattern player, but he is not your high scroll speed player. So for average, it's just fine.
Yeah. China has an advantage, maybe 3 or 4 100s right now. And it is just accuracy right now. Silver Tyrant dropping a few more 100s as well. China maintaining this lead, but it is such a tiny, fragile lead here. And there is a lot of map. China needs to stay locked in.
A bit of a lower accuracy than what you expect from Silver Tyrant on a Hard Rock 2 map. But he's still on the edge of 99 beating on Minato. The second half of the map is a lot harder where the speed stream comes, and then might be seeing some Chinese players have some trouble. Pet, of course, amazing accuracy. First drop from Super SS, but the accuracy is too good for China. And we see Silver Tyrant miss, kicking negative. Silver Tyrant. He completely lost it, and that might be the chance for China. And
China,
oh my god,
seeing a light straight down from heaven. Silver Tyrant with a huge chain miss there. Pet also finding a break. China now with a gigantic lead. WLY Minato still on this FC, still on the 99 accuracy. Highest accuracy in the lobby, aside from Pet, of course. Silver Tyrant finding another break. WLY Minato still holding. We're in to the final sections of the map. China might just be able to take this break point back.
Another break from Pat, and that is a fantastic situation for China. And they mentioned Minato. They mentioned him right before the match. We love you, Minato. What's the truth? At the end of the map, he carries the Chinese team, breaking up both KK Negative, Super Success, the best players over for China on a skill set that they are not strong at. And China destroys USA pick, takes the 4th point onto a map break point, and now they're onto their break.
Oh my goodness. That is heartbreak right back for the US. Unable to close out another match today on this Hard Rock 2. Now going to have to face China's pick and possibly going to be facing down the barrel of a tiebreaker. Now the US is probably favored on that tiebreaker. It's a skill cap focused map, but you never want to go to tiebreaker, especially if you're the higher seeded team. And especially if you're the US and you already have, let's say, a sordid history with tiebreakers in this tournament.
And China as well. China is also known to be winning TV by quite a bit because they practice tiebreaker a lot.
And now China, last pick here. We have 3 remaining, the Nomad 4, the Nomad 5, and the DT2. I could probably make a case for either of the Nomads. The Nomad 4 is my guess.
I'm pretty sure it's Nomad 4. If they are going for off performance from the US members, then Nomad 5, but on paper, then Nomad 4. Because USA has been kinda missing on sections that you would not expect them to miss. Yeah,
this is Nomad 4.
They're trusting their team, they're trusting their hearts, going back to Nomad 4.
Yeah, if you're against an opponent that has been like dropping these random misses, Nomad 4 loves to produce random misses. This map is so tricky. I mean, especially when you're nervous, misreads are so easy to have. Our fate will be decided on a troll map.
You know, after seeing the last map, anything is possible. China was facing 90. Just say it. I think Power 2 was like a 90% lose rate, and that 10% happened. Like, you just look at yesterday's performance of the USA. Like, there's no way that USA would not win that pick. But you know, cases like that happen, and it happened for China. Yeah, it was between this on the stream map and Nomad 5 the stream map. But honestly, I can see China just take it because players was kind of missing. The USA players were kind of missing a lot on the streams, and this is a completely different story.
I mean, oh boy. China's got some fire in their belly now. The US still looking to just hold them off here. And, I mean, maybe even getting a little bit of deja vu, especially if China's able to win this pick here. 2 weekends in a row facing teams in basically the same seeding range. It's going to be tricky, but the Nomad 4 stands in the way of China and the tiebreaker.
I think tiebreaker is more of a problem for the Chinese team, honestly, rather than this map. In general, you can see this roster. You see if Silver Tyrant is playing Nomad 4. He is not really that known as a Nomad 4 player. And he's playing it. There's a bit of skill cap in this map though. And SV is not difficult just yet, so it's possible. But you would expect someone else for the USA to fail in rather than Silver Tyrant. We'll see how he performs on this map.
We do see the accuracy advantage for China starting to show itself here as the SV gimmicks kind of get into full steam ahead here. But it's only a very slight advantage here. We lead in the kind of 10,000 point range here. We saw a swing right at the end of that section.
I looking at Silver Tyrant playing a slow putt. He's so nervous. He's not really known for playing low density stuff, but he is grabbing it. He just lost quite a bit of accuracy over there, but that scares me the hell out of the USA and China. Wow, was carried by both SSS and Negative. After being carried on Hard Rock 2, is their job to bring it to the tiebreaker.
But accuracy is being dropped by China just a little bit in this faster section here. They still have the lead, but it's shaky. And I mean, it's also within one miss. KK Negative going to find that break there. That lead is going to shrink to nothing. It's going to flicker back over to the US, but the accuracy advantage for China keeping this lead really, really close. It's going to be flickering between these two teams here. China needs to hold on for dear life. They need a break from the US, and they're going to find it in miniature lift. In the final seconds of the map, the lead is going to flicker back over. China just needs to hold it in through this outro, and they will force tiebreaker. China
did it! They did it! And oh my god.
Are you seeing what I am seeing here, Yeonjin? Are you prepared for tiebreaker?
I am absolutely prepared.
Holy. That miss by Miniature Lamp at the very end of the map. Swinging it back over after the miss from KK Negative.
It's possible. We might be seeing US lose in 7-8. And now we have huge blow.
Yeah,
and if
they have
that's
not.
The case, I think third place is completely up on the air, but first China needs to win this map, and this is the tough one. Like I mentioned, No More Force should not be the tough one for them to win it, but this is the map that is tough for them to win it. Skill cap, diffs, complete mechanics, map by Tatsuke, weird awkward patterns. Can China do it? This is a hard map.
Yeah. Will we see any mods here? My first thought, like when I was playing through this map, was probably not. But we are seeing two teams that like have players who are really strong at modding. Really strong with consistency in that way. And it just comes down, I mean, it comes down to if they've practiced it. You said China does do a lot of tiebreaker practicing. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I mean, it's, you know, like I said, the awkward kind of first 2/3 of this map, chilling at 190 BPM with just weird patterns, the weird 1/6 tech, and then that ending, the 290 BPM speed section.
Yeah, I mean, thanks to the also original song from Cydosis, a very good storyboard as well, so players. So the viewers in the chat, please do check the map quite a bit. We only view it on, if you can't play the map, which probably most of us cannot play the map. View it on the storyboard. It's very, very fun, like very high production values. Thanks for the designing team for this map who give us such a bliss of a tiebreaker. But onto this situation right now, and you look at the USA, I think they just swap in their 3 best player for a map like this. Aurora, Silver Tyrant, Pat, and China. Michael and El can play these kinds of maps, but the third player, KK Negative. Usually you would say KK Negative is the top 2 player China team, but on a skill cap map like this, definitely something to worry about for the Chinese team.
Yeah, that ending is going to lead to some pretty big swings if your skill cap is not fully up there. Curious. We haven't seen KK Negative actually come in yet here.
Pretty sure he's gonna be the third player.
Yeah, they're looking for KK Negative. KK Negative appears to have dropped off the face of the earth. I mean, I don't know why you would put where KK I mean, in China, right? There's KK Negative.
It's not gonna be in China because China's connection is extremely slow, so then most of the players use VPN to play. Welcome to China. So that is usually the case for the Chinese players. And now KK Negative is in. And the roster has been selected: Aurora, Silver Tyrant, Pat versus Super SSS, Michael, and KK Negative. And Neff. And I mean, on paper, this is super US favored, but look at Hard Rock 2, look at No More 6. Oh,
yeah.
Could have
We've seen the paper burn and disappear like flash paper today. China has been, I think, pretty outperforming expectations, honestly, on a lot of these picks we've thought would be US favored. And now we're going to see if they can do it one last time on this banger of an Osu original tiebreaker.
Rather than China overperform, okay, China did overperform on No More 3 and No More 6, but I would say more like underperform of USA. It's my how to say, it's like recaps of the match. And as long as they perform regularly, this is a pretty much USA map that all performance happens.
And it is 6 no mods here, so nothing crazy to really throw us off here. We are just dealing with straight up 6 players on a skill cap map vying for dominance here. And early on, it's a little bit of an accuracy lead for the US here, but it's flickering now after Aurora and Silver Tyrant drop a few 100s.
That's the number of monos in this map. And that's why I think Pat was selected to be the 3rd player instead. And usually he just gets super high accuracy in no mod maps in general. All players having no mod in general gives me a bit of a more confidence to USA for just closing this in. If we see players putting on Hidden, I think that benefits China slightly. But Pat's been the first to find a break though. But it's not going to be the only miss you see the entire map. This map is 4 minutes long and KK Negative respawns it instantly.
Yeah, going to trade that out, going to even it out, but Pet going to drop once more to lead back in China's favor, only about 10,000 points though, and this map I do think gets harder as it goes on, you know, and on a certain level, I'm sitting here waiting for the diff spike and seeing if China can hold through that. And what China wants to do is hold this kind of a lead. They want to have a cushion into that diff spike, into the highest skill cap part of the map, because I don't think they're going to be able to beat the US there, so they need to beat the US everywhere else in order to even it out.
Just a tiny miss on USA though. 2 tiny breaks on Pat. The slowdown sessions makes me again worry about Silver Tyrant's accuracy.
The 100s. Aurora! On that slowdown there, that 1-6, I think into Pet also dropping on that 1-6. Aurora finding another break as well. The lead for China now increases around 25,000 points, going to go up to 30,000 here pretty quickly. The slower tech section really throwing off the US.
Skill cap gonna start really soon, especially speed.
Oh! Those slowing down snappings there. KK Negative finding a break, so the lead goes back down to about 25,000 points. But that's still a few breaks ahead for China. The accuracy, though, dropping a little bit here. Now both Michael and KK Negative below that 99 mark, but so is everyone on the US. Super SSS still holding the only 99 FC in the lobby. Silver Tyrant holding the only FC for the US. But we are on to the final section of the map. The BPM is 290. Super SSS finds the first break, but it's traded by Aurora Phasmata. Now, Silver Tyrant still the only FC left for the US. Michael, the only FC left for China. 27,000 points is the lead here. China needs to hold through this speed section if they want to find the upset. Aurora Phasmata does find another break here. About a quarter of the map to go. About a minute left. Michael Odie still The only FC here for China still holding accuracy. Super SSS holding accuracy. KK Negative is not, though. KK Negative finds a break, but Aurora Phasmata once again it finds the trade. Pen also found a break earlier on. Silver Tyrant still holding the FC for the US. KK Negative does unfortunately find another break here for China. The lead for China is decreasing. It is now down below 20,000 points. It is down to 17,000 points. We're in the final sections of the map. There's almost nothing left. Aurora Phasmata finds another break on the slow section in the ending. It's 20,000 points here for China, and there's no map left remaining for the US to come back. China might have just done it. They might have just pulled off one of the upsets of the tournament. China takes the tiebreaker. China takes the match, and China will be moving on. Oh my goodness.
Franz Crank, do you have any words?
None at all.
And GG, well played. USA will be narrowly defeated on the tiebreaker. Again, we mentioned China technically don't have the skill cap to play the map. You can see KK Negative were missing all the difficult parts, and so the Super SSS. But the off performance from USA on some of the patterns, some of the monos, some of the slow sessions, the nerves just killed USA and China. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Just a brutal way to get eliminated if you're the US. 2 weekends in a row losing an upset to tiebreaker is brutal, but I think both times have been so well deserved from these lower seeded teams. China put up the performance of a lifetime on a lot of those maps. You know, taking the US to task on a lot of the maps that I think people before this match would have thought were super US favored. The US underperformed on some of them, and China was able to take full advantage and punish them. And that is exactly what you need to be doing if you want to be a top tier team in this tournament. And now China's going to move on to next weekend. They have secured a top 6 slot. And now,
oh my god,
the race for 3rd place.
Not only that, the stronger Chinese team could not do it last year. They did it this year. They got top 6 last year. They were denied by Taiwan, and you know what that meant. They are facing a loser between Japan and Taiwan next weekend. And the nightmare once again awaits Chinese team. Taiwan is most likely gonna be back against if they want to grab a top 3 slot. And again, like Franz, you mentioned, top 3 suddenly is up on anyone's game. You got the hard skill cap team get knocked out in such a surprising fashion.
And you have all these teams who are now going to be scrapping for top 3. You have Taiwan, the 5 seed, Singapore, the 4 seed, Chile, the 6 seed, China, the 7 seed. Heck, you even got UK, the 10 seed. They have not been eliminated yet. They're still awaiting their match with Singapore later on this weekend. It is now anyone's game. This tournament got a lot more interesting. This podium has gotten a lot more competitive.
And I'm very excited to see some of the matches in the rest of the tournament. This is a news. It's such a big news that the caster cannot stop talking about it even after the match has finished for 5 minutes. But next match, it's going to be Japan versus Taiwan, and China has to face a loser of this match. Most likely Taiwan, because Japan is kinda good at the game. Not regular human good, is kinda inhumane level of good. So the losers will be facing against China, and the final match to decide our top 6 of the entire tournament, Singapore versus the Britain team. UK will be settled on the final top 6. Can UK make it again despite the weaker roster, or the comeback of the strongest Singaporean teams did it for top 6? Be sure to come back at around 4 hours and 40 minutes between Japan versus Taiwan. And Brown's Crank, what a match we witnessed.
Oh my goodness. And I think what matches we will witness in the future in this tournament. But until then, we will see you next time.
And before going, remember you can support your favorite teams with buying a banner.
Buy the banners, buy the banners. Do it.
Buy the banners. You can do it on your official store. After seeing the China performance, you may want to get yourself a China banner to congrats for that match and hopefully for them to grab a podium. You can buy on an official store with $2.50. It will look good on your profile and it would stay until the next World Cup starts or next like also catch World Cup. Like it will still stay for a while unless you bought the winner, which will be staying till the next actual taiko World Cup starts. And that's all from us. Hope you guys do remember to come back at 10 UTC between Japan versus Taiwan. The craziest upset just happened, and a even crazy upset happened again. See you all in 10 UTC. My name is Youngin. Joining me today we got Bronze Crank. I will see you guys in 10 UTC.
Adiosu.